make that satisfaction be okay. You're like, oh, good, I like that. Or I may have to fucking talk to you till I'm blue in the teeth. I may have to pull out, like all the evidence of this, that, and the third to make you believe. So that's also the difference in basically the students of anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, at what point do I have to stop teaching for you to believe?
Yeah.
For you to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
That's hard. Like, that's like, okay, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard, and that's another reason I don't like going to church. It's because I feel like they're over. Like, you're fucking doing too much. Like, I understood you when you said it the first time, and then the second and third time, whenever you try to repackage the same thing and send it to me, I feel like you think I'm stupid, or you're stupid.
Right.
One of us is stupid here, and I can't figure out who it is at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and I definitely feel you on that, because you would expect. I mean, just like with any product, you would expect for whenever you go back to visit that you would get some more value for like your money or your tithe or whatever. Not the same old repackaged sermon the whole time. But what I'm learning in like this path that I'm on now is like the people, they may be called gurus or godmen, whatever they call them over there. But they're not trying to tell us anything. What's happening is they're just being in that truthful space, and they're sharing that space with us, and they're offering a transmission for you to go and like shepherd yourself, like, because whether you believe them or not, they're still in that place. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful place to be. They have nothing to defend. It's like, I'm here now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully, my influence will lead you down your path, but I'm not going to leave my space to try to convince you of anything, because now I'm not in the space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where that's a beautiful place to fucking be.
But that's a genuine, right? Like, that would be a genuine path.
Right.
The other way is you can see it's all, I guess, about whoever's motivation
right.
is trying to tell you something.
Uh-huh. What
is your motivation for you telling somebody anything, right? Like, that's what you got to look at.
Right.
And if their motivation is, hey, this is the greatest space in the earth, or in a place, in the universe to be, I can tell you I don't mind sharing how I got here, but you have to figure it out.
Right.
Right? Like,
right.
But I'm also not going to leave this circle
right.
to help you figure it out. You can sit and watch me
right.
figure it out on your own, or I'll tell you as much as I can.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to get up and go outside the circle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, for what?
Yes.
I've already made it. I've made it. You figure out how to get in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because one of the teachers that I've been working with, she was like, I was just thanking her for like shit that was happening. She was like, Camden, I'm not doing shit. You're doing it. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? You're fucking doing it. It's not me doing it. You're the one doing it. And I'm like, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. But I think what I was trying to say was, thank you for your influence. It was something about, it's like, you can get enveloped in a state where everything is just, everything's clicking. And she's like, you are the one that's clicking. Yes, I may have given you a reference point of how to feel to click like that, but you click the clicker. And when I realized that, I'm just like, oh, okay, it is what I'm doing. So that to me is a true teacher, where it's just like they are truly just radiating the truthfulness of who they are, and then they do it so consistently that I can match that radiance, and now I can walk around with the radiance. It ain't got nothing to do with a Bible verse. It's a state of being. The kingdom of heaven is within. He who's in me is greater than he who's in the world. It's so many, know that ye are gods. That's even in the Bible, and it's like, really, what does that mean? I think we're talking about a resonant frequency that is in a different range than the frequency that we grew up in, and it can be realized. And in that frequency is the possibility of being free of food. It's the possibility of being free of pain. It's the possibility of now we're now talking about the gates of heaven. It sounds like to me, you know what I mean, here on earth. And to me, that would have to be the ultimate. Except for we've been brainwashed to thinking like, nah, the ultimate is working your ass off here, and then when you get to heaven, all of your relief will come. When we can really, like, heaven is the state that you dwell in. Most people are dwelling in hell. It's what you make it, yeah.
What you make it.
You know, and it's like
that's the part of the God within yourself part, because it's largely up to you.
Right.
Sure, there are outside circumstances that could definitely throw you a couple roadblocks.
Sure.
But it's really up to you.
But even that is there to strengthen your knowing, like strengthen your ability to see that, oh, that happened for me, and not, not.
I mean, depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is.
Right, yeah. Like you could get into some sort of accident that severed all your limbs and did this, that, like to make you basically a vegetable. And then what? You're saying it's like, what are you to do then? What? Free from solid food?
Sure.
Maybe, right?
Sure. Well, there's this Vedic story that goes where it's like the king and his spiritual advisor. And the spiritual advisor was like this really psychic person, and the king kept him around because he would know if somebody was trying to attack him or whatever like that. Well, one day the king had his sword, and he was swinging it around, and he ended up cutting off one of his toes. He got mad at the spiritual advisor because he's like, spiritual advisor, you're supposed to be psychic. You didn't even tell me I was about to cut off my toe. He was like, everything works out to the good. He was like, everything works out to the good. And then he throws him in jail. So now the king has thrown his spiritual advisor in jail. The king is out in the wilderness because they're going hunting with his knights. And the king goes off on his own path because he thought he saw a rabbit over there. And it turns out that he didn't see a rabbit, and he got lost. And the natives found him. So the natives were looking for a blood sacrifice for their ceremony. So they're like, here goes the white man. Let me just, I don't know him. We're going to snatch him, and we're going to use him as our blood sacrifice. So this king that ruled everything outside of this wilderness is about to die. And the shaman looked at the king, and they said, we can't accept this sacrifice. And then the guy says, why? He was like, he's missing a toe. He's corrupted. We need to find someone that has all their limbs in place. So the king goes back to his kingdom, and he like totally flabbergasted that he didn't die. Gets his spiritual advisor out of jail and says, I'm sorry, you've suffered for so long. He was like, and told him his story, and he says, and then the spiritual advisor says, everything works out for the good. He said, how did that work out for the good for you? He was like, because I would have
been with you.
He said, I
got 10 toes. Fuck you. I would have been sacrificed.
Exactly. So to your point about there's some things that seem to be insurmountable that may be happening to us, all the way to something where you just stub your toe. Everything is working out to the good because these moments are already paved in a large way, and it's our ability to navigate those with a big heart that allows for the best possible outcome up ahead to happen. You know what I'm saying? If the anvil drops on your head and you freak out and you start shooting guns, then you already know what that's going to be. But if you can operate in your knowing and know in that stable place of who you are and bless it, then it's like, oh, well, because he didn't want me to die down there, and he didn't want him to die either. So this had to happen for this shit to, you know what I mean? So I be looking at shit like that, and it just shifts how we digest life, in a sense. So that's a beautiful story. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. No, you did a good job.
Yeah. And then like to the girls, like I know there's been a lot of sexual abuse and things in this nature, and then like you hear somebody say you create your own reality and all of that, and they're like, well, what about what happened to me when I was 5 and what happened to me when I was 7? And it's like, I'm talking to you now. See, the story is so fast. You just took me back to age 5. We're 45. Like, I'm talking to you now. Like, that can all be a tailwind. Now.
Way back.
Now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? God bless that child that had to go through that. But now, we have an opportunity to let that express through us in the best possible way to help the future of ourselves. You know what I mean? But some people are so like attached to the story. It's like, well, who's my identity without the story of molestation, or who's my identity
without my victim card?
Right.
Without my victim card, who am I?
And if you can't have victim, you can't have blame.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah,
can't.
if you can't have blame, you can't have competition. If you can't have competition, then how can I be better than somebody? Then where does that even leave me? Like,
I'm nobody.
Right.
I have nothing to cling to.
Right. Welcome home. You are nobody. You're nothing. You know, we're not. Right. You know what I mean? So it's that part of it too that I had to wrestle with on my own end.
You're a pile of sophisticated ashes.
Exactly. You know, like, god damn. So yeah, man. So I don't know. That's kind of where this whole thing is taking me so far.
Oh, dude, I dig it, man. Like I said, it's just interesting too. Whether you subscribe or not, like it's interesting to hear different perspectives and this and that. Like some stuff it'd take me forever or maybe longer than needed to understand it. But I think if you go in and the more open you can be, like it's hard for me not to, like, I really do believe just about anything is possible. I don't believe everything is likely. And that's the difference. I think almost anything, like the idea of a fucking microscopic sperm swimming its way into a fucking microscopic egg and creating something with the most complex nervous system and cellular structure and all this other shit is fucking mind. That blows my fucking mind. I'm like, god damn, this pile of jizz
right
and this bloody mess fucking created a complete human being.
Sure.
That is fucking insane to me.
Yeah, for real.
That is, I mean, even plants, like the same thing. It's like, fuck, how in the world does that happen?
Oh,
Anyway, I can believe in a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I just, like I said, it's just that some stuff is like, wait a minute, this isn't likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it just feels like it's more of a feeling state, and I think that we're in a place of where, like, needing to balance, like, the mind and the soul, balancing the human and the being, like this stuff. We've been taught to be so mind driven, and like even in wealth management, it's so formulaic and algorithmic. You know, it's just so here, earnings. Yeah, it's just like but then there's also that place where you can perceive things and you can discern a direction to go or not based on information. It can't all be intuition, but it can't all be mind. But I was so far into the mind, I had to go all the way intuition to really experience it. So now I'm kind of in this place where I'm coming back to the middle, where I can just be centered and watch and move deliberately, choosing that step, you know. And so you said that you think things are possible. How'd you put that? Possible?
I just think, like I said, the fact that, like I said, the miracle of life and stuff like that, to me, it just seems so crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you were to say that about something as, I guess, hard to believe about anything else, like, but the result you see every day, right, within yourself and everybody else, so you can prove it. But if you just told me, like, hey, dude, this pile, this little goo in here, and if you mix it with this $5 bill, I can make a baby. Right. Like, so, but you can see it, so it's like, no. But it is still fucking unbelievable. Sure. So what I'm saying is that just sheer little miracle alone, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if anything is possible. But I am, like, there's a lot of things that I feel like aren't likely. Yeah, right. But I really can't totally discount anything that I can't disprove, or prove myself. Exactly. So therefore, but I'm also like, I think what you were saying about being able to accept it, you know, like more like we were talking about yesterday, gut feeling and that sort of thing. That's accepting it more with your body and your I don't know, intuition without overthinking.
Yeah.
Right. You're not gonna try to overanalyze it.
Right.
Something and to know it's true, and you don't need to know it's true. You don't need to overanalyze how I got here. You can see me though, so you know I'm here.
Right.
Right. So therefore, it's accepted into your mind probably immediately without thought. Because you can reach out, touch me, you can hear me.
Sure.
But other things take more fucking effort to believe or to, and it not even necessarily for me anyway. It's not even necessarily needing to believe in as much as it is not trying to figure out the magic trick.
Right.
Like I can see a magic trick, so I know whatever he did is. It looks like the perception to me is it happened. Now all I care about is how the fuck did he do that?
Right.
How? I want to deconstruct. Or make a fucking awesome dish. How the fuck did you make that?
Right.
What all went into that? Now I just want to know. And then it's like, well, I can't explain. Now I'm like, oh, bullshit.
Right.
Fucking bullshit. And then I get mad at the fucking magician because I don't understand how he did it.
Right.
Now I don't like magic.
Wow, it's just all the way that way.
Fuck it all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this shit just snowballs kind of like that.
But it is a sense of like even going to the babies, like their ability to dwell in like appreciation. Like a baby will be in it. Yeah, like
everything's new.
Yeah, and but there's a level of appreciation and a level of just presence with it that doesn't require an explanation or a blueprint or anything. It's just that they're in the moment with this inanimate object. And like, I'm saying that's where we're going back to, is this idea of just being with things for the beauty of it, in period, and seeing yourself in it, and like just appreciating that moment and moving to the next moment, you know, after you've sort of satisfied your curiosities and stuff, because that's what I'm doing right now too. I'm like, I want to know how it works. But the ultimate is that it's all you're working it, you know, like that's the ultimate. There's no separation. There's not anything that can I saw it on the documentary where they're talking about the biggest technology that we have on the planet came from nature. You know, you look at different applications for electricity or different applications for cell phones and whatever. You can find cues in nature that this was pulled from without a problem. You know, look at the airplane. I mean, it's a perfect example.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
The airplane versus a bird. It's the same technology. It's just man's, way of mechanizing it.
Yeah.
And so we are truly everything, and it's just like being able to be in that state of mind while in activity to really maximize that moment where to get beyond needing to know and just being, that's when it's like,
yeah. No, that makes sense.
And that's where psychedelics
fuck it up.
Yeah, and that's where psychedelics comes in, because a lot of people can't just drop down into that. Psychedelics just takes you straight there. It just fast tracks you straight to that place that I'm talking about. And it's like, oh, I see now. I see what he means, It is just like, wow, those are cows. And why is it a cow? And how beautiful the cow. It's like, it's not even, it's just a whole different way of looking at things. It has been quite the adventure, though, man. Like
it is. That's part of it too, right? Part of the journey is the reward.
Mm-hmm. It's just like wow. And then it's funny, you come back and you do activities. Like I start getting out in public and doing things, and it's like you get to see how much I've changed against like a backdrop that I know. And I'm just like, oh, like I get to see myself in people. Like, oh, I used to do that a lot. Like, I don't do that anymore. Like, oh, I used to say that. Oh, I don't do it. It's just like almost like you're able, like Back to the Future type shit, where you can go back and
that good sound you were looking for. Listen to this.
Yeah, like you can go back in this form, but you can go back to the future and be like, damn, like I was right there saying that, doing the same shit, and how much better it feels like not to have grown out of it, basically. And appreciation that there will be people that will not grow out of it. That's the problem. That's where your religion comes in, where you say, well, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. If you don't change your life.
Change your ways, you're going to hell, straight to hell.
Many of us are already in hell.